The Astros' offensive problems continue as they get swept by the Boston Red Sox, not even a couple of days after they had come off of a not too shabby homestand when they took capping that off with 2 out of 3 against the Nats. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about and a lot to catch you guys up on over the past week and a half because I was actually out of town, so I couldn't post anything for you guys. So we're going to cover pretty much everything from the recent homestand to trade deadline reactions and also this recent series against the Red Sox. It's all coming up. So sit back and relax and stay tuned. This team just sucks. Like, what else can I say, man? Ever since we swept the Dodgers in LA, it feels like we've dropped 14 of our last 20 games or something like that. Over this past stretch, we've dropped 8 of our last 10. And with all this, we're only 12 games above 500 and only 2.5 games up on the Seattle Mariners. They're closing in fast. I mean, we were up like maybe 7 games on them like back in July or something like that. It really feels like this team is on the Titanic, if you know what I mean. Because, I mean, if you guys have seen the movie and at least know the story of it, you're probably getting my reference at this point. But real quickly, guys, I do want to mention I apologize that if I'm a little bit late to posting trade deadline reactions. When all this stuff was going on, I was actually out of town visiting family out in South Carolina. But looking back on it, man, I'm kind of glad that the trip came when it did, because I was kind of glad that I was able to enjoy myself in South Carolina and not watch the fest that was the A's series. Or even the what was this series as well. I mean, it wasn't too bad, I guess. We played well in some games. But like I said at the beginning of the video, man, this team just sucks. Like we have zero offense. Or at least it's been non-existent for the past 2 weeks, it feels like. I mean, they were non-existent in all of July, except, I mean, with the alone exception with that Dodgers series in LA. But, like, the offense just straight up sucks. We have zero pitching aside from Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez. But, like, seriously, man, whether games end in 1-0 loss, 10-0 loss, 15-0 loss, or heck, for all intents and purposes, a 100-0 loss, then, like, that just further proves to you that this offense here just can't hit for shit. It's just ridiculous, man. I mean, and personally, like I said, I'm glad that I was out in South Carolina enjoying myself and hanging out with family, and I didn't have to watch this, but like, you know, it's just pathetic, man. Like just being honest. And I mean, I'm going to be trying and keep level-headed throughout the course of this video. I mean, it's been easy for me to do because I just kind of, you know, get irate as I watch the games more so than after the fact. But I mean, overall, man, I'm just upset. But what I'm not too upset about is the trade deadline and the masterclass that Dana Brown and Jim Crane did to, you know, do somewhat decent moves, I guess you can say. The first move that we did was we traded for Ramon Urias or something like that. I think, I don't know what his first name is. But we got him from the Baltimore Orioles in exchange for a single-A minor league pitcher, which I think that's definitely a pretty good trade that the Astros certainly could benefit from as far as the players involved, I guess you can say. The second thing they did was that they traded for Jesus Sanchez from the Miami Marlins, again in exchange for this time, unfortunately, Ryan Gusto. Personally, I kind of wish of all the minor leaguers we could have traded, it sucked that it had to be Ryan Gusto because, I mean, of all the minor leaguers that have really pitched and tried to carry our rotation to this point, Ryan Gusto has been the guy that I've been a fan of the most. And, I mean, it's a shame that he's going to be gone. But, I mean, I guess for the most part, since he is the best, we could have gotten a good piece for him. And again, I'm not too concerned about it because we have more than likely have Spencer Arrighetti coming this week. He just wrapped up another rehab assignment this past weekend with AAA. And word is that we might see him this week against the Marlins. We're not 100% sure. I hope we see him pitch this week in that series. But, you know, if not, we should see him pitch the next series against the Yankees and the Bronx this weekend. Another Astros pitcher that just finished up another rehab assignment was Luis Garcia, his 6th since coming off surgery. Now, Luis Garcia in particular is stating that he is still trying to work on his mechanics. So, I mean, I guess we could see another rehab stint for him with AAA at some point. I mean, heck, we could even see him go back down to AA or something like that. But, I mean, something's telling me that he is just really going to be taking a while to work his mechanics. Then again, he is getting used to the pitch clock. So, you know, because, you know, he's certainly used to his, you know, traditional rockin' the baby type delivery. Unfortunately, that's not something that he can do in this current era. But, you know, like I said, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm hoping he comes back soon. Going on the other side of the ball, we've got some updates surrounding our offense, starting with Yordan Alvarez, as far as I'm aware of. Espada last week stated he is still rehabbing in Florida, but he is feeling pretty good. So I'm hoping we'll see him on a rehab assignment at some point, either, maybe next week, I guess. That's probably the soonest I could see him going out on one. But going back to trade deadline acquisitions, I've saved the best one for last. Carlos Correa. That's right. The former Astro that left free agency after 2021 and signed with the Minnesota Twins is finally back with the Houston Astros. Now, to our credit, the Minnesota Twins were pretty much in a hellfire at this point in their season, because they were pretty much selling everybody away on their roster, like practically, I guess. And Correa was one of those guys. And the Twins are going to be eating up most of that money that they owe him on his contract. So thankfully, he's not going to be a rental, and we could see Correa with us for at least the past couple of years. But or not the past couple of years, but like the next 2 or 3 years, maybe. I don't know how much longer he'll stay with us before he walks away again, but we'll just have to wait and see. But in all seriousness, man, if I were to give a trade deadline grade for the Astros, I'd probably give them maybe a B-. Like, just being 100%. I could go a little bit more generous, but like, seriously, man, I asked for better offensive output in general, and this is what we get, man. Like, Carlos Correa, one of those guys who was so injury prone in his career, even with us. Not the best move, if I'm being honest. I love Correa and what he had done for the past 6 years in his career with the Astros and what he's done for the Astros in general. But like, it's whatever, I guess. But anyway, diving into this Red Sox series, man. And like I said, I would have liked to talk about the Nats series. It was certainly a great series with the Astros. The third game of that series was probably the best one of that bunch, with Yonier Diaz, Taylor Trammell both hitting home runs. Or all hitting home runs, I guess. I can't remember off the top of my head who else hit home runs in that game. I'll have to go back and look. But as far as the A series is concerned, prior to that, man, I'm not going to talk about it, because that was just a total shit fest of a series that it's not even worth mentioning in this video. Like I said, I'm glad I was in South Carolina, so I didn't even have to post a video on that series alone, because it was just terrible. As was the case for this series against the Red Sox, which we are going to get into right now, starting in this first game. It was a rather intense pitcher's duel between Framber Valdez, or not Framber Valdez. He pitched in Sunday's game. But it was a pretty decent looking pitcher's duel between Hunter Brown and Criswell here for the Red Sox. Cooper Criswell, as I pull up his name here. But like, this guy is a rookie who's barely even stretched out, and yet we allowed him to go 7 innings, all because we were all too aggressive at the plate. We were swinging all too early. Many of our pitches resulted in outs. And we didn't really do as much well in this series to begin with, when it came to with men on base. Because, we only had 1 hit with men in scoring position this whole series, and I believe that hit came in Manfred innings. The Red Sox, I guess, didn't do that much better. They went 0 for 6, stranded 7, I guess. The Astros did score early in the top of the second with a home run by Christian Walker over the Green Monster. One of 2 home runs he would hit over the Monster in this series, homering again on Saturday's game. But obviously, if you ask the Astros pitcher to hold a 1-0 lead, they simply just can't do it. And that's exactly what happened in the bottom of the 7th inning, as Wheeler Abreu was able to score Trevor Story in the bottom of the 7th on a sac fly. Personally, man, this scoring alone is probably what changed the complexity of the entire game, because, well, prior to this, Masataka Yoshida in 2 AVs prior to this was able to reach base on a pitch that really should have been strike 3. And it ended up not being a strike, because, the umpires, the strike zones through all 3 of these games of the series was just pathetic. And, I don't know what is taking MLB so long to implement ABS. I know it's not going to come this year, but, the fact that it is still not here is just absolutely ridiculous, because it's calls like this that you guys are seeing on screen right now that can change the complexity of an entire AB or even the entire game. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, that was the score going into Manfred innings. The Astros couldn't advance their Manfred runner over, and with Josh Hader being on the mound, asked to go 2 innings, or actually, no, he didn't go 2 innings in this game. But Bennett Sousa had came into pitch in the bottom of the 10th. But yeah, he didn't even get a single out in this inning, and the Red Sox were able to score on a sac fly to walk it off in the bottom of the 10th. Second game of the series, the Astros once again got the scoring started. Christian Walker again, 2-run blast over the Monster in the first inning, 2-0 Astros early. But that lead would not last for much long. In fact, it didn't even last through 3 innings, as Romy Gonzalez got the Red Sox scoring started with a home run of his own that barely cleared the Green Monster. Colton Gordon had pitched in this game, and I'm just gonna say, man, that he just straight up stinks. He looked good. He looked okay in his first few starts, But the thing about pitching is that over time, you can't just stick with the same pitch. And especially if you're a minor leaguer that just doesn't understand this, over time, professional major league rosters like the Red Sox, they're going to be adjusting to that. Like they have, like, teams now have scouting reports on these guys, and like they're able to, justify like what his weakest pitch is, and when to swing, when not to swing, that sort of thing. You guys kind of get the idea. But it's gotten to the point where Colton Gordon, his fluke of a start, I guess, his good stretch, I guess, is gone, because it just feels like he just straight up sucks now. Let's be honest. I mean, I honestly just cannot wait to get some cavalry reinforcements from our pitching staff like Arrighetti and Javier. But I mean, even then, man, I mean, it would feel rather delusional to see them, try to carry us into the playoffs and be as good as they were prior to the injury. Because, I mean, if anything, we would just be getting the spring training variants of those guys at this point in the season, like in this final month and a half or so. But in the bottom of the third was when the Red Sox would tie and eventually take the lead, with Rob Refsnyder hitting an RBI single to tie the game at 2. And then Trevor Story, a 2-run home run, would put the Red Sox up 4-2, which that was a lead they would not relinquish. The Astros slowly kind of started chipping away. They did get a ton of base runners on in this game. But again, one of the weaknesses that the Astros have had offensively is just hitting with men in scoring position. And that was the case in this game, as they ended up going 2 for 11 with men in scoring position and stranded 14 base runners. That is just completely unacceptable, man. Like, if this offense needs to get going, they need to get hit with men in scoring position and quit stranding like 2 to 3 guys per inning. It's just ridiculous, man. Like I said, the pitching can only carry this team so much, and I think they have done, and I mean, I feel like they've just done enough of that. The offense is the reason why we're in this funk, because they can barely even score more than 3 runs per game. It's just ridiculous. Like I said earlier, it was the case once again in the series finale. Correa had hit his first home run in the since returning to the Astros, but that was clearly a fluke, because Framber Valdez, everything that possibly could have gone wrong for him in the bottom of the 4th inning went wrong, because the Red Sox would then tag him for a 6th spot in the 4th inning. That would eventually go on to be the final score in this game, as the Astros only mustered 3 hits the entire afternoon. Like I said, man, the offense needs to pick it up. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the clubhouse or what kind of things that the hitting coaches are having these guys do. But, like, the fact that you can only get 3 hits in a single game, they out-hit the Red Sox 14-10 in the second game of the series, and yet they still lost. I mean, obviously, Colton Gordon being as bad as he is probably was a good reason for that. I don't know what to say, man, but, I mean, at least when you kind of compare to some other teams out there that really should be playing well, that are just a straight-up mess, the Astros aren't the only one of those teams that are an absolute mess right now. Like, the Yankees are an absolute mess right now. The Tigers, I mean, they've been struggling pretty much all of July, much like the Astros have. But, I mean, at the same time, man, this AL West division race is proving to be the same, as close as it was last year. And, I mean, even if we get some of these guys, I mean, this is kind of the reason why we should have pursued a starter at the trade deadline this year. Granted, the price for a starter did prove to be a little bit high, so I mean, I guess I can kind of let that slide. But at the same time, man, like I said, for the upteenth time, the pitching can only do so much. So this is a tough stretch that the Astros are on, because next up we've got the Miami Marlins down in Miami after this, starting tomorrow night. I mean, the Miami Marlins just came off of sweeping the Yankees for the first time in franchise history. I mean, which version of the Marlins are we going to get, man? I mean, obviously, I guess the Marlins aren't really a bad team. They're more of a surprise team, if I'm being honest, because, like, about a month ago or so, they were 12 games or so under 500. Now they're at 500. This stretch that the Astros are on, clearly fatigue is probably catching up to them. And I mean, the offense just needs to get it going. It's that simple. Like, I mean, do I need to see anything else about that? No, I don't think so. But anyway, guys, that's going to do for this video. It's run long enough already, more so than I would have liked it to. So, if you guys liked it, drop a like, and if you're new, and subscribe if you're new. If you want to watch any of my other videos, and click these cards above my shoulders. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next one.